Welcome back to the Todd Durkin IMPACT Show. This is Todd Durkin. This is the IMPACT Show, and I am so excited today to be in a place of royalty, a place of sacred grounds. I'm actually recording this from Central California with a legend. And in just a moment, you're going to hear from this legend. Her name is Elaine LaLanne. LaLanne. She is in the house. Well, actually, I'm in her house. And y'all heard of the name Jack LaLanne? You're like, yeah, Jack LaLanne. Jack, how do I know that name? Well, you're going to hear all about Jack LaLanne today. He was a hero of mine. A hero. And I started this series recently called What is a Hero? And to be here in Central California talking about a hero, not just of me, but of millions of people worldwide, of how Jack LaLanne, he was a pioneer. He's the Godfather of Fitness. If you're a coach, trainer, fit pro, life transformer, you have been influenced and impacted by Jack LaLanne. This man, heck, I'm wearing his gear if you're not watching on YouTube. The Jack LaLanne Show, 1951 and 1984. He had the longest standing show on TV with Elaine LaLanne. You're going to hear all about how that came to be as well. But so you understand and get a proper due before you hear all from Elaine LaLanne. My first introduction to Jack LaLanne was back where I grew up, my hometown in Brick, New Jersey, Chambers Bridge Road. You know, I was in high school dreaming of playing college football, and I went beside the high school gym to Jack LaLanne's gym. Yep. And let me tell you, in the 80s and the 90s, that was the place to be, was Jack LaLanne's. And then I got into the fitness industry, got my degree in kinesiology and my master's degree in strength and conditioning and massage therapy, and got into the health and fitness world. And when I opened Fitness Quest 10 in year 2000, I eventually, through the time, got more and more introduced to Jack LaLanne and who he was and all of that. Met him in 2009 at Idea World, and when you study Jack LaLanne, there's a few things I want you to know. Number one, he did some extremely amazing physical feats. Also, he has some of the most amazing quotes of all time. Like, these are ones you gotta hang. Matter of fact, if you're looking at this montage behind me, if you're just listening in, it's amazing. But trailblazer, pioneer, impact man, and just so you know, a couple of the first that Jack LaLanne did. Opened the first modern day health spa in 1936. Woo-hoo. The first to have a co-ed health club. The first to have a combination health food bar and gym. The first to have a weight loss instant breakfast meal replacement drink in 56. The first to combine weight training with nutrition. The first to have an edible snack nutrition bar. The first weight selector for cable machines. The first leg extension machine. I remember that back at Jack LaLanne's. Man, my quads were popping from the Jack LaLanne leg extension. I need that back, please. Need it back. And he had the very first, as mentioned, the longest standing TV show that spanned from 51 to 1985, 34 years. Crazy. Now, challenge, I'll have a little challenge for y'all by the end of today's podcast episode when Elaine, she's just cranking up doing her jumping jacks right now, pardon the pun. Oh wait, jumping jacks were named after Jack LaLanne. Yes, they were. At age 41, Jack LaLanne at age 41, all you 40-somethings, swam handcuffed from Alcatraz to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. Is that true, Elaine?
That's true.
Man,
Yeah.
she's ready to roll. At 42, set a world record. 1,033 push-ups in 23 minutes. Is that true?
That's true. I was right there.
Man, 42.
On my honor.
He swam the treacherous Golden Gate Channel towing a 2,500-pound boat. Strong winds and currents made the 1-mile swim a 6.5-mile swim. Is that true?
That's right.
Wow. 45, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 chips, hour and 22 minutes. Age 60. Man, we're getting age 60 now. Hey, Elaine, I think I'm going to swim from Alcatraz to Fisherman's Wharf a second time, handcuffed, shackled.
And I said, you gotta be nuts.
You're going to be nuts. And I'll tow a 1,000-pound boat, too, Elaine. She's like, go for it, you nuts. You're nuts, Jack. At age 60 went, as if he didn't have enough. Elaine, I didn't have enough. He swam the length of the Golden Gate Bridge, underwater, handcuffed, shackled, towing a 1,000-pound boat.
Shackled is,
Yeah.
his ankles were shackled.
Man. 62, Long Beach Harbor, handcuffed, shackled, towing 13 boats, as if one wasn't enough, 13, containing 76 people. Age 66, he towed 10 boats in Miami with 77 people for a mile. Age 70, all you 70-somethings, stop complaining that your body hurts. Think of Jack LaLanne. Handcuffed, shackled, fighting strong winds and currents. He towed 70 boats. Oh, he was 70 years old. Hey, let me celebrate a birthday, Elaine. Towing boats with 70 people for a mile and a half. And lastly, I gotta share this. In his 90s, he exercised for 2 hours a day. Would do 90 minutes of weightlifting a day and 30 minutes of swimming a day. The one and the only Elaine LaLanne is in the house. Elaine, welcome to the show. Man.
Good to see you, Todd.
It is so great
God
to see
bless
you.
you and welcome.
God bless you.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
God bless you, Elaine.
What do you want? What do you want to know?
Man.
What do you want to know that I don't want to tell you?
96 years young. Going to be 97 when? March 19th?
March 19th.
Mine's the 21st, March 21st. You're a hero. You are a hero. Jack is a hero. I'm on this hero series. Elaine, my theme this year is why wait? You've been asking me since 2017 when I won the Jack LaLanne Award. I've mentioned this many times. The award out of any accolade I've ever received, the one from a professional standpoint that means the most to me, is the Jack LaLanne Award for what it stands for and the way this man impacted
And
fitness.
everything came from Jack's heart, and everything comes from your heart. I saw that the first time I met you. And when you talk about how important it was to receive this award, I saw this love and this thankfulness and this love that comes out of you. And this man is
Thank you.
very, very spiritual.
Jack had
very
that.
spiritual.
Jack had that.
Jack had it. He said everything starts between the brains, and everything starts between your brains. And he's giving all of
Get
you
your mind
more
right.
brains.
So Elaine, thank you. Out of all those physical feats, does one stand out to you as like, Jack, you're nuts. You can't do that. You're gonna die, or this is crazy. Like, there's one.
I think the 60th birthday one, when I said you got to be nuts.
Alcatraz?
Alcatraz, because you know why? Because everybody knows the Alcatraz,
Yes.
and they always think about it as a very dangerous, and it is dangerous.
There's sharks in the water.
I mean, there are 7 tides that go through around this. And one time he tried to go emulate the people that escaped, and they got in the water, and he did it at the same time that they thought that these people did it, and we had to pick him up out to sea, because you can only swim from Alcatraz to the mainland.
Okay.
At certain low tides are low, and they don't move. They're not moving this way or that way, and that's the only time you can do it. So when he did it at that time that they thought the people escaped, we pulled him out. We put underneath the Golden Bridge, and we got a boat, and he's coming in, and he's like this.
Shaking.
I mean, it's cold.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have any.
Why did he do these? What was it about all these physical feats? Was he proving something to himself, or was he more like, I'm going to show people that you can do anything you want physically if you set your mind to it?
That's it. You just said it. It all started when people when he first did this from Alcatraz swim, people thought they were over the hill. Now this was in the 50s.
Yep.
And people thought that they were over the hill when they got to be 40 years old. So he was 40 and 41. So he did these feats to show that because you think you're over the hill, you're not.
Yep.
So there's back to your thinking.
Mind right. Get your mind right. Yep.
Back to your thinking again.
There you go. So Elaine, before I go into Jack deeply, I want to talk about you. About to be 97 years young.
Well, I'd probably be 6 foot under if I hadn't met him. I was smoking cigarettes and eating chocolate donuts, and I was on television. I had him on as an interview. I was on an hour and a half show every
So you were hitting on your client.
Yeah, I was on 4:30.
Hey, look at you, I got you.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
But I was on from 4:30 to 6 every day. I
Okay.
booked the show, booked all the guests. I appeared on it, and the whole thing.
in 1951. Is that about
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I started in 1948,
Hmm.
but this was probably 1950 or 1951 because this is before he went on television. So this had to be late 50, early 51 or late 50.
Elaine, at
Yeah.
96,
Yeah.
tell me what it's like to be 96. What are you feeling?
Well, inside
Yes.
the core
Yeah.
is good, but if you've had a few falls and you've got a bad knee, then things do happen. Your hearing. My hearing started going about when I was 95 or no 94.
Yep.
But nothing really happened to me till I was about 90, and at 90, 91,
How old were
nothing,
you?
and then about 93 things. My hearing and
South
my
a little bit.
eyes and.
How old
but
were you
now,
when Jack passed away in 2011? How old were you?
85.
85. So, guys, as you listen on in today, I just got this epic workout in Jack's gym. Man, let me tell you what. You talk about a pump. I didn't want it to end. Elaine's like, we got to record, Todd. We got to record. I'm like, don't worry, Elaine. I might sleep in the gym tonight. So it was epic. But Elaine at 96, soon to be 97 years young. Last night we were in the gym. She's doing Roman chair sit-ups. She's doing hamstring curls, leg extensions, lat pull downs, like on the original equipment. I'm not talking this fancy stuff that we've got at the gyms today. Like, man, this is epic, epic stuff. And hopefully we can infuse some of that here in the podcast today. How long were you and Jack married for?
Well, we were married. We went together 6 years before we were married
So
because
he
we've
was,
both been
he
married
was
before.
slow moving.
Oh, we're slow moving because we've both been married before.
Okay, so second marriage.
But no, we were so busy.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just busy with, and then we said, well, maybe we should get married. But we didn't live together. We didn't live together.
You didn't do that back
No,
then.
no, we didn't do things like that. We were
Different
prim
era.
and proper.
Yep.
Tried to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
Keep going. Keep going. Yep. Yep.
But we were married 52 years, and probably, I met him in 51, and he died in what?
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
So that's how many years?
Elaine, I just want to say thank you because your vibrance and vitality and energy at 96 is amazing. And I called my mom last night. She's 89 in Florida. I'm like, and you met my mom in 2017 when I won the award.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, you better pick it up because Elaine's got you. She's got you right now. You better start picking it up. I don't want you puffing on the cigarettes. You better be picking it up. She's on the treadmill. So
I was puffing on cigarettes when I first met Jack. But Jack says, you should be eating apples and oranges and bananas. And I said, oh, yeah?
yeah, no.
But he brought this guy over with a very big corporation out to here, and he says, I'm going to take 30 pounds off of this guy in 30 days on his television show. And he did, and oh my God, the sands of time were shifting, so I changed my whole eating habits, quit smoking, and the blues were bluer and the greens were greener, and I started eating better, and I've never changed. I'm a convert.
Elaine, I want to talk about in a moment Jack's habits, his best practices, things like that. But before we do it, I want to make sure that all our listeners today, when you step back, I think it's important to honor history and honor wisdom and folks who've been there. And Elaine LaLanne walked side by side with Jack for many years, and they've had some iconic moments. And I want to step back to the TV show. Because if you're older than 50, well, if you were watching TV before 1984 or 85, you probably saw the Jack LaLanne show. If you're younger than that, and you probably know the Jack LaLanne Juicer. Oh, that's how I know Jack LaLanne's name is the Juicer, right? Like, I know the Juicer. Maybe you don't, but I want to just talk about the TV show for a moment because the longest TV show, 34 years.
I think Gillard is going to outdo him now because he's doing some more TV.
Yeah, but step back. You were helping produce the show, and it was an hour, 30-minute show, really 24 minutes. Was there in this TV show, it's a fitness show. It wasn't strong. Some of you saw my show strong. This is Jack's show that he had 30-minute show. Was there like a 3 or 4 principles or tenets that were part of the show, like the intro? Like, how did you structure
Well,
the show?
what we did was
Yep.
it's very simple.
Yep.
Jack says, keep things simple, and that's if you any
Preach.
advice that I want to give to anybody, keep things simple.
I like that.
So anyway, what we did is he had an opening, which would be, it might be a rusty old hinge, and it was going. He says, "This could be, is this you?" Or something like that.
Interesting.
That's his opening.
Caught their
Then he
attention.
comes on, and then he gets people exercising for like 7 minutes, and then
Body
he
weight.
comes on.
Mostly
Then
body
he,
weight, right?
then we have in there we left time for commercials and stuff, and then in the middle he has a pep talk. Every day he had a pep talk on. I mean, he wanted to make sure that you got the message, about exercise and nutrition and how important it was.
And that was what,
then
3
at
minutes
the
or
end,
so?
pardon me.
Was that about 3 minutes, the pep talk? How long?
3
was it?
minutes.
3
3 minutes.
Okay.
And then exercise.
Love it.
It was mostly exercise. Everybody did their exercises, and then at the end he'd have a tip, a nutrition tip, or some kind of a tip that you could, or an exercise to do till the next day. In other words, do this.
Yeah.
In
But
other
you
words,
got to remember, as you listen in here, 1950s and 60s TV. Not everyone had a TV then. If you did have a TV, you knew who Jack LaLanne was.
and everything
because
was live too.
everything was live.
Yeah, and then when we got on film and on tape,
Yep.
then it lasted. It was about 24 minutes,
Yep.
and it was inspirational. People
Love it.
loved it.
I think we need to renew the Jack LaLanne show. The Good News Network's coming back, the TV show. Interesting, because when you think about that, 24 minutes, they created a show every day.
He did everything. In
Every
other words,
day.
there was no stopping.
Yeah.
No stopping in the middle and redoing
One
it or
take
doing
Jack.
it was just
One
all
take
through.
Jack. Didn't
One
we?
take.
Live.
Jack
5
was-
days a week, 34 years. That's a long time.
He was known for one take Jack.
Yeah, exactly. And what was your favorite part of the show? Like, you were helping behind the scenes, produce it, guests. But
And I was on it sometimes.
you were on it a lot.
But later on.
The ratings always spiked when you were on it. More people watching, like, oh, Elaine's on, right?
They
Ratings
say,
were
don't
good.
be mean. Don't be so mean to your wife.
Yeah, exactly. What was your favorite part of the show? Was there one, like, I love when Jack did the pep, like, looking back now, reflecting on 34 years of that, did you love when
I
he did
think it's pep
the
talks.
pep talk?
Yeah, because his pep talks were inspirational, always inspirational. And people would write in, change their lives, they changed their life, they quit smoking, they're not an alcoholic anymore, and he would never tell you to quit smoking. He would never tell you, you are the one that has to decide.
Yeah.
I'm here to inspire you, but you are the one that has control. You're the guy driving the bus,
Yep. Well, I think that's one of his quotes, is it not? Everything you do in life, I don't care good or bad, don't blame God, don't blame the devil, don't blame me, blame you.
Yep.
You control everything. The thoughts you think, the words you utter, the food you eat, the exercise
That's
you do.
right, that's
Everything's
right.
controlled by you, Jack LaLanne said. Everything you do.
That's exactly right. And the blame game, that's what it bothers me, because I blame myself for all the things that happened to me. I said, well, that was, when I really look at it, you try to think of somebody to blame, but you can't. I mean, really, if you think about it.
Now, Elaine, when I told people I was coming up to your place here, like, I watched the Jack LaLanne show, and Jack LaLanne, he used to have the dog on, Lucky.
No, happy.
No? Happy?
Happy, Smiley, Walter. We all love to
So how many
exercise
dogs?
regularly.
So 3 different dogs?
Oh, well, because he was on so long, they died.
Oh, my gosh.
First Happy died, and then his son
So it's Happy?
Happy, and then Smiley came
Smiley.
along, and then after Smiley, he was
Walter.
bred, and then we get Chuckles.
Chuckles.
And then the fourth one we had a contest, and the one who
Name
won
that.
the contest gets to go to Las Vegas, and then the contest winner was, we all love to exercise regularly, Walter. and guess what? About 30 years later, I'm at some party and a lady comes up to me. She says, "I'm the one that won your trip to
No
Las
way.
Vegas." I almost died. I thought that was the greatest thing.
Well, you know what? I didn't even read that. That wasn't even in your book. You and Greg Justice
No.
wrote a book on Jack's whole legacy, pride and discipline, legacy of Jack LaLanne. I'm going to talk about it later, but I didn't read about that in the book. So you're getting exclusive
Right.
content on
I
the
got
Impact
more
Show.
stories. Honey, I got so many stories to tell you.
This is getting
I could
juicy.
write another, like Greg says, we could write another book.
Okay, all right, part 2. But you got to read the first one first, folks, on it. I thought that there was no dog named Lucky. It was
No,
Happy.
no, that
Okay.
was Lucky was somebody else's dog. I think it was a car dealer.
All right, well, I'm going to need, I guess my next TV show, I'm going to have to get a dog
A
named
used
Lucky.
car dealer.
So let's fast forward through the show, amazing success, and then this juicer comes
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because a lot
Well-
of people know Jack from the juicer.
Well,
but
you
how did
know,
that happen?
let me tell you, Jack had been juicing all his life. We've always had a juicer. We had, look up there. There's
okay.
one of the first one I knew about.
Yep.
And so we got this call from back east New York, and they said we have a really high-end juicer that we want to show you.
Okay.
And I said, well, we don't want to be involved in any juicer that is, not,
Quality.
sturdy and
Sure.
quality and everything else. So they brought it, so the people brought it out, and Joseph, his name is Joseph, and he brought it out, and we went to my agent, Rick Hirsch, at the agency, and he demonstrated it.
You demonstrated the juicer.
And then
next thing, yeah.
Jack is sitting there. He says, I like this. Jack turned down so many. We could be millionaires today.
How old was he then when you guys were getting the juicer going? How old was he?
Probably about 80, I guess.
80?
Yeah, because let's see, we got it in 2001. We started in 2001 with that. So
By the way,
figure it out. He was 19.
By the way,
20.
how the heck is your memory so good? I can't remember things from yesterday, and you're pulling out. I think it was 2001. It was 8. Like Elaine, it's impressive that
Well, that's one thing I do have is a good memory. I mean, I do. Claire, she works for me, and Claire says, "How do you remember all that
I
stuff?"
know.
I said, "I don't know. I just remember."
So he's 80. You guys do
Well,
this
it's,
juicer.
like not exactly.
But about 80. Would you say between the Jack LaLanne gyms, the TV show, the juicer, is the juicer the most successful thing?
Yes. Yeah,
was the
Jack was one who never thought about money,
Yep.
and he didn't.
Talk more about that.
And well, you want me to tell you now, or do you want me to go into the
I think
juicer?
this is a really good time.
Okay. Well, he never patented anything. He didn't know, he was 21 years old, going to be 22. He never knew about patenting and stuff like that. So a lot of that inventions, are not patented. We patented fitness. Then we got smarter later on. You get smarter as you learn,
As you make mistakes.
as you make mistakes.
Totally so true.
And then Jack,
true.
here, let me shake your hand. That's his bond. That was his bond.
Amen to that.
I mean, and when he shook your
Mark
hand,
that
that's
tape.
meant he's gonna.
Mark that. Amen.
Yeah. And so,
Amen.
a lot of times, we get involved with some of these places and some of these people, and they did not turn out to be what we thought they were.
Yep.
And so I don't know anybody in business that doesn't have this problem. That
so
you
true.
sink and you swim, and then you get up on shore and you start again. And this is one of Jack's, what you would call a failure, in life.
What was?
He just trusted so many people.
Interesting.
With his hand, and
Isn't
he
that
trusted them, and he didn't really care too much about money. I want to help people to help themselves. If I heard that once, I heard it trillions of times, and that's all. That was his philosophy of life. That's what he lived for, and end of story. That's it. I want to help people to help themselves, and I want to. That's what he lived for. I mean, that's the way he was, and
That's goosebumps.
and talk about pride and discipline. He wanted everybody to have pride in their work, and discipline. He had fabulous discipline. He would not eat in between meals. He was. You could ask anybody that knew him. I mean, his discipline was out of this world. I'm not that disciplined. You know, I said this on the Rachel Ray show. I told Rachel Ray about, I said, when I was 80, I said, Jack, if I want a piece of cake, I'm going to have a piece of cake because I've been good all these years, and I'm going to have but I'm just going to have this. It's not what you do some of the time that counts. It's what you do most of the time that counts. That's what he said.
I love that. There's
That was
another
his
quote.
That was his answer.
I just want to pause for a moment. It was a goosebump moment. I got a little emotional here when you mentioned what Jack said about changing people and money. Can you repeat what he said to you, not once, but 100 times?
I want to help people to help themselves. And he really never cared about money. He just never did. I mean, I said, well, Jack, I wish you would have said something on, he was on a big network show. But he was so intent about giving his message that he'd forget to be commercial. Let's put it that way.
Such an icon, such a hero, you and Jack both. I don't think Jack could have done what he did without you, and vice versa.
Well,
right?
we were a good team.
Great team.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, because he taught me so much. He really taught me so much. And I think we both gave to each other.
What do you think he taught you that's most valuable?
What he taught me?
Yeah.
Well, mostly about nutrition, but the mind, you know. He didn't teach me because I knew about the mind too, you know. But we had such a meeting of them. When two people have a meeting of the minds, it's like, you know, knitting together. You know, it's wonderful. And he would never get mad. His discipline was.
Probably because he worked out 2 hours a day, so he had a lot less stress.
He said the best thing for taking away stress is exercise.
Amen.
He says that's how I take away my stress. If I have stress, I just go out and work out, and it's gone.
Amen.
And but he would never. If you anything that was negative, he says that's negative. I don't want to talk about it. We don't talk about negative. No negative. So and then if we say anything was said, now for instance, we were having a little to-do about where we should, when we're building this house, and where to put the island in the kitchen. So I wanted it here and he wanted it there, and you know, so then he ends up making some funny about it. So we both end up laughing. He always made me laugh, and we always had a joke or always had a laugh.
I bet you when this beautiful house here on the estate we're at was being built, I'm sure the first part, it wasn't the island, it was the gym. Because I just worked out in that gym, and let me tell you what, if there were spirits speaking in there, there were spirits speaking in there. I was working on the arm farm with Indiviglia and Justice, and we're getting after it. And there's like the hallowed halls of Jack LaLanne's gym speaking to us as we got after it.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's he just believes so strongly in helping people to help themselves. Period. Yeah. That's it.
Wow. Amen to that. We need more of that today. That's why we're here on the Impact Show trying to inspire people, and like Jack LaLanne did back in the day.
Yeah, it was. Anybody that met Jack was inspired. I mean, you can't be around him not being. I don't know. He just had this. He had a twinkle in his eye. He had he made people laugh. And yet he got his message through.
So don't you, let me get deep on you for a moment. Don't you think there was an aura there, an energy there, but that energy and aura is created, and it's created because of the discipline to do the work every single day, to exercise, to eat right, right, and get your mind right on a daily basis.
Do you know that I never thought about the aura? But yes, when you say this, I really, now that I think about it, yes.
Yeah. And that aura isn't just Jack was built that way. Guys, if you do that, when you read the book, he was a sugar addict up until he was 14 years old. Like he wasn't born Jack LaLanne the way everyone knows him.
No.
He changed his life through the meeting of a chiropractor and different people in his life, and the aura was developed like you can develop it by following the principles that we preach on a regular basis here, and go back into history at the Godfather of Fitness, Jack LaLanne, and his sidekick, Elaine LaLanne. Enough being said. So, a couple last questions, Elaine. If Jack were alive today, what advice do you think he'd have to say?
Exercise is king, nutrition's queen. Put them together and you got a kingdom, period.
That's a mic drop moment if I ever heard one. All right, let me ask you this question. I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm going to ask you. Different era, social media, heck, podcasts. If Jack was alive today, I mean, you had TV when it was just starting out for the most part, right? Do you feel with all of the physical feats he did and all the quotes he had, would he be on a certain platform? Do you think he'd have a podcast, or would it be a TV show, or would it be YouTube, or would it be all of it? Like, social media would have changed the game for him. If he was living today, he'd be like The Rock.
Yeah.
Like, Dwayne Johnson.
You know what he loved to do? He loved to go and talk to people, in other words, conventions and things like that, because he liked the feel of the people in the audience, and their energy comes to you, and you go give them your energy, and I've done a lot of lecturing, and to me, you think, but that's why he only wanted one camera, because he wanted to talk to that camera. He wanted to talk to you, and he felt he wanted to get what comes out of here over to you, and that's what you do when you have a live people. But if you have this camera, he can talk to, and he looks at it like just you, just only you. That's pretty much Jack LaLanne, and today, I don't know, he'd probably have a podcast or something like that, but it would probably be on one camera, and so he can talk to you.
That's right. Wow.
Give you the punch in the stomach. Yeah. He'd say, punch me in the stomach.
Well, at 95, 96 years old, you just came out with a book. You and Greg Justice, as mentioned, in Scripter Publishing, Pride and Discipline, The Legacy of Jack LaLanne. Why did you write the book?
Well, I wanted to get it out. Greg Justice approached me. He had this kind of the same idea. He approached me, and we got into the National Fitness Hall of Fame together. That's where we met. Yep. We got talking, and he suggested you should write a book about Jack, and we were talking about how Jack was so disciplined, and so he came up with the idea of writing this book script of his publishing company.
Scripter, yeah.
And so I agreed, and so I said, Jack's writings are so inspirational.
Yes.
Too bad I didn't. I have a whole file like this of his writings. In his own writings, he'd wake up in the middle of the night and write down something and write down this. And some of his writings are right in the book. I made a copy of it. And then I'd say, Jack, I can't read your writing. He says, I can't read yours. But I learned to decipher his writings, and they're in the book, and they were so inspirational. Overcoming obstacles, and oh my gosh, there's so many.
Well, Lou Ferrigno writes the foreword. Everyone and anyone in fitness He's got endorsements, testimonials.
Yeah.
You're talking presidents, actors, actresses have all been impacted by Jack LaLanne.
Well, Lou Ferrigno tells about how he met Jack LaLanne and what an inspiration he was,
Yes.
and then how, well, it's in the book about how Jack picked up. He was just starting out, and Jack would, if he would see you today, he'd come over. How you doing? How's the workouts? That's what he'd do.
Yeah. Like you were doing me this morning when I was doing the hamstring curls, and you were like hitting me on the back, telling me to keep going.
Yeah, but that's what he'd do.
Yeah.
And then, but anybody that had a little muscle or something, but when people would come up to him, he would spend. Well, if you were asking him a question and you were sincere about it, a lot of people would make fun of him, kind of a little bit, and. But he would answer you, and he's left the table. People would come over in the restaurants, and they would want to talk to him. He'd be like this, and he'd put down his fork and start talking to him. How are you? And this and that. And then a lot of times, when I first met him, he would go from when he was first on television. We would be out to dinner, and some lady would come over and said, "I want you to come over and meet my husband." And so I'd be sitting there waiting till he come back. But I mean, that's the way he was. I mean, he wanted to help people so bad.
Guys, get the book. It's available on Amazon. Get the book.
Yeah, you'll know more about him. There's how I met him and all that stuff.
The whole backstory. I'm not going to reiterate all of it. It's special. Greg Justice, Scripter Publishing, and Elaine LaLanne did one heck of a job. Years and years of research, letters that had never been seen or shared before. If you are either in the fitness world, if you're in the fitness world, it's mandatory. Pick up the book. If you're a fitness, you're a fitness consumer, you're someone who loves fitness, you read it because you're going to be enamored with where this whole fitness.
If you're not
started.
into fitness
Read
and
it
you're
anyway.
just a little like this,
Yes.
it's still inspiring.
It is. It's still inspiring. Speak of inspiring, I'm going to end with this. Some of my all-time favorite quotes from Jack LaLanne, and I'm going to know which one. I can't die. It would ruin my image. That's one of them. I do it as therapy. I do it as something to keep me alive. We all need a little discipline. Exercise is my discipline. The only way to get fat off is to eat less and exercise more. Amen. Remember this. Your body is your slave. It works for you. People don't die of old age. They die of neglect. The food you eat today is walking and talking tomorrow. Oh, I like that. This is on the back of my shirt right now, by the way. You've got to exercise. Your health account, your bank account, they're the same thing. The more you put in, the more you can take out. It's on my new beautiful Jack LaLanne shirt. Under Armour, of course. Your waistline is your lifeline. Better to wear out than rust out. If you got a big gut and you start doing sit-ups, you're going to get bigger because you build up the muscle. You got to get rid of the fat. How do you get rid of the fat? Change your diet. And here, I like this. If it tastes good, spit it out. If man made it, don't eat it. And then, as we said earlier, everything you do in life, I don't care good or bad, don't blame God, don't blame the devil, don't blame me, don't blame you. You control everything. The thoughts you think, the words you utter, the food you eat, the exercise you do, everything's controlled by you. And it was once said that when Jack LaLanne died, he'd carry his own casket to the funeral. That's my man, Jack LaLanne. And to be here in the presence of, I'll call it the First Lady of Fitness, Elaine LaLanne.
I don't know where I got that name.
I don't know, but let me tell you what, Elaine, thank you. Just for
Thank you, and I hope
God bless you.
this man is such a great man, and I appreciate your telling the younger generation about this book because they'll
need
be
to know.
inspired.
They need to know.
Yeah, they need to know.
Elaine, impact, that's my word, is impact. The Impact Show. Impact's all about legacy. What do you hope your impact, your legacy is all about?
I don't need a legacy. I'm one of these people who likes to, like if I was working for you, I would like to build you up. Want to build him up, want to build everybody up.
So your legacy
I mean,
is to carry
if
on
I ever
Jack's.
lived another life, I must have had this because I don't have the desire to have a legacy. I don't have the desire to be famous. I just do my work, and do the best I can. As Jack says, do the best I can with the equipment I have.
But your legacy, I guess, would be to build Jack's legacy.
Build Jack's legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll remember
that.
that.
Is legacy, right? And
Yeah.
and that's what you're doing a heck of a job. If you see her at the next fitness show, if you're at Idea World and you see Elaine LaLanne, you see her face if you're watching on YouTube, give her a big hug. Give her a big hug and
yeah, they can watch the Rachel Ray show on YouTube.
They can watch the Rachel Ray show
on YouTube.
Or just watch this YouTube and listen. But if you can do us a favor, spread the gospel of what Elaine LaLanne just talked about. Get the book. I'll put it in the show notes. You got the link to the book, and read it, share it. Follow her and Jack LaLanne on social media. I'll put all of that in the show notes for the social media. Please share this. Part of my whole coming up here was why wait? Why wait to do what you want? Why wait to read a book? Why wait to take the trips that you want to take? Why wait to do what you want? Why wait to write a book? She's 96, soon to be 97 years old.
It's my 7th book.
7th book?
Yeah.
Wow. So the theme is why wait? And Elaine, you're a hero. Jack LaLanne's a hero. Thank you for all that you both did for the fitness industry and do to this day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seriously.
And thank you all out there for participating with us.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap here from Central California. Such an honor to come up here.
I'll take my hat off to you all.
Take your hat off and a toast to Jack LaLanne, Elaine LaLanne, and for all the trainers and coaches and life transformers out there.
God bless.
It's an honor.
It's an honor.
I love you.
Love you.
But wait, there's more. Yes, there is. As if Elaine LaLanne wasn't enough. And thank you again for sharing this episode. I'm fortunate enough to have some and then some today. We always talk about and then some. I've got John LaLanne, Jack's son, in the house. And John and I have known each other for a long time as well. I see him at the Idea World booth all the time with his mother. And I just have a couple questions in the and then some from John. John, first, welcome to the show.
Yeah, and you wore the Jack LaLanne jumpsuit when you got the Jack LaLanne award.
You ain't kidding.
Which was
I had
awesome.
that specially made.
Yeah,
I still have it.
that was good.
And yes, good memory on that. 2017, the Jack LaLanne jumpsuit had to be legendary. And what's it like? What's it like to be Jack LaLanne's son?
You know, it's something that I don't know any different because I don't have a reference point, you know, but we were a normal American family, you know, we're just, I grew up in the Hollywood Hills and, you know, had to go to school but, you know, growing up with Dad, it was like almost being the son of a preacher because we'd have guests over and he would, at the dinner table, he'd always be telling people what to do. Yeah, it was like a broken record. You need to be doing this and this, and he was the same on the show as he was at dinner when we had guests over. He'd always try to convey the message.
Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. They're not listening right now. Did he ever eat like garbage? Like, did he ever cheat? Like, have cake and sugar?
No. You know, we were coming home from Santa Monica. He doesn't like sugar, right? So. And I remember one time he was so thirsty. He was so thirsty because he was working out and swimming. And it's when Jaws, he'd go disappear, right? He'd leave me on the beach and he'd disappear. And I go, Dad, Jaws is going to eat Dad. But he stopped at the gas station, stopped to get gas, and he went and got a Fresca. Remember when Fresca was a diet drink? So there's no sugar in it. So he would say, and he drank it and he spit it out.
That's awesome.
Spit it out. So, I mean, he really did practice what he preached. Yeah. He really, I mean, that's Dad.
So let me ask you this. He worked out at what, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning? Or
No. 4 a.m. He was up.
4 a.m. So was he like yelling and screaming during that time, or was he quiet?
Well, he would come in after the workout and get me up. And you know, I love to sleep, and he'd sick the dogs on me. And they'd wake me up, and then he would, some in the mornings, he'd wear this plastic suit.
No way.
And he'd wring his sweat on my face.
Like the old school sweat?
No,
Like,
he would wring the
plastic.
sweat from the under sweat.
Oh my God.
Sweat.
This is legendary.
Sweatshirt under
Yes.
the plastic suit on my face to wake me up. That's
Now,
old school.
That's good parenting.
That's old school.
That's good parenting.
Yeah.
Parents,
Yeah.
I think we should get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna resurrect the
And then
Jack
I
LaLanne
told you about
plastic
Hattie
jumpsuit.
with the discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, I was raised with heavy discipline. Great parents, understanding parents, but discipline. You know, like you don't do this, you don't, like it was just, you don't like it at the time, but you realize that it's good for you.
So
it
hear
keeps
these
you on the
things
straight
like son
and
of a
narrow.
preacher, and then they go off the deep end or something. As the son of a fitness icon, while you didn't probably know that at the time as a fitness icon, did you ever say, screw this fitness stuff, I'm going my own way, I ain't doing any of that, I ain't eating good? Or was it,
Okay, so when Dad made my lunches for school, people would have ding dongs and Twinkies and good stuff, right?
Tasty
What do
cakes, we're
and
going
I'm
back.
trying to trade an apple for a ding dong. I was deprived.
Love it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You're
but
trading,
it's
you're
like trying to trade a penny for
I
a
remember
freaking
those
gold
days,
coin.
yes.
You know, it doesn't happen.
so it's all healthy food?
all healthy food. And then
Dad made your lunch.
Hattie had a cabinet for me.
Okay. Ooh,
Remember Hattie?
A secret.
Secret cabinet that I got pudding,
you like
snack pack
you like
pudding, and the
Hattie.
space food sticks. And so I finally started to get a little bit of stuff in my lunch that was palatable. you know.
Wow. so let me ask you this. We were talking last night here at the house about some of your dad's failures, because I'm always interested when you meet someone that is tremendously successful. People think, oh, he's a great athlete or she's a great entrepreneur, and you had a really good share with me about failure and some of your dad's failures, which actually made him successful. And that his, as your mom mentioned earlier in the show, is the juicer perhaps was the most success that you guys have ever had, and that happened at age 80.
Yeah.
Just what's your philosophy on failure, and even from your dad's perspective, because no one really knows that.
Well, what I found is that, if you really want to do something, like, okay, so I played all these sports. I played hockey, ice hockey.
Ice hockey.
With a very few
In
kids
LA.
in LA.
Yeah.
I played for Burbank. Soccer, baseball. I learned to surf, like that's my
still do,
thing.
right?
I
That's
still
your thing,
do. That
making
was the
surfboards.
toughest thing I've ever learned to do. It's the toughest sport to learn. And the frustration, the failure, and then I decided at 27 years old to pick up this harmonica. And this kid goes, well, you can go down and take lessons. So I went into McCabe's music store and started to take lessons. And the teacher wouldn't let me go past Susanna, or I wanted to play the blues, and he said, you got to keep doing this. And I got so frustrated, and I got this sheet of notes from him. And I can't do this. Wow. I can't, and I go, for the first time in my life, I said, okay, this is annoying, it's painful, but then I've been taking these lessons, and now I'm gonna quit again. Dad wouldn't quit, so I'm gonna keep going, and I don't know what I'm doing. It's just, I don't even
How old were
I
you?
hate this. I was
How-
27. So I kept doing it, although I didn't want to do it, although I didn't know what I was doing, but I just kept going. And then 1990 comes, I'm 30 now. And I guess Mom and Dad had this huge event here, March of Dimes. We had part of the Johnny Carson band here. And I told my mom, I said, I'm gonna go play harmonica with the band. I'm gonna sit in with them. Don't you embarrass us with the, because they didn't know what I was doing, right? So I got up and I played with, so each
jammed
act
with 'em.
that came up asked me back up.
Interesting.
I got that good because I applied Dad's, like, if you quit, then you're done.
Yeah.
If you don't go through the pain and the frustration, if you do not experience that, you're not going to learn, you're not going to get the basis. And remember I told you, my teacher said, look, I wanted to go to the blues, but you can't go from A to F. You got to go A, B, C, or you miss the fundamentals.
Yep. And we hate sometimes going through that.
It's the
process.
worst.
Yep.
And the failure is what, you want to quit. But if you quit, well then, you can't get worse.
Yeah.
You can't
do
get
you ever
worse.
hear your dad's voice in your head today? Like messages like that.
You know, innately I do.
Yep.
You know, because I was just raised with around a positive attitude. I think there's a lot of negativity around these days, a lot of, you know, self-destruction, and, you know, we're being raised around dad, and,
Yeah.
you know, although it's annoying, listen to people be happy
turn
and
off
positive
yourself.
every day, you know, but it rubs off on you, you know.
It's contagious.
It is contagious.
It is contagious.
It is.
And John, just real quick, share with our listeners today what you do, because you have an art, right? Of
Yes.
The surfboard.
Yes.
What is it that you actually do with the surfboard?
I've done many things. Like we say, the learning process. Like when I started my pool business, I was a pool man for a long time to the stars.
That's right.
James, you know, and that was tough to learn. But I'm a surfboard manufacturer. And that is one of the toughest things to do well. It's like, you know, it's one of those things like a martial arts sculpting and shaping with function and form that costs a lot of money. And that took a long time to learn. That's my craft. And I've known it since I was 18.
Yeah.
That's something I was California pro for a while, and I have a line of surfboards, but I only make my hand for, you know, whoever happens to find me.
My last question is, if your dad was here today, what do you think he would say to you?
Maybe what he said when I won the Northern Conference Championships. You don't get enough exercise from that surfing crap.
And that, my friends, is a wrap.